as a government worker and a therapist, how has this situation, this shutdown, personally affected you emotionally, mentally, and financially?
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, it's been heavy. As a
Mhm.
government employee, there's that uncertainty of not knowing when your next paycheck is coming. And as a
Yes.
therapist, I'm also holding spaces for my clients who are dealing with the same anxiety. Emotionally, it's
Right.
draining because I'm trying to balance empathy and endurance. I still have to show up for
Yes.
my clients. I still have to show up for my community with my events that I'm having. And so it's kind of forced me to really practice what I preach, having to work
Hmm.
on myself, having to manage my anxiety, and remembering that rest and faith are still important when things feel uneasy.
Yes.
Financially, even with savings, the longer this drags on, the more
Yeah.
it starting to go into survival mode. And so I feel like
Right.
now personally has really been testing my patience, my faith, and my emotional
Yeah.
regulation.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Blck Impact podcast, everyone. I am Tiffany, your host, and this podcast is based on healing, inspiring, and empowering you to be your authentic self, and for you to be comfortable to talk about uncomfortable conversations that Black community are going through, are facing. And I have a lovely guest here with me by the name of Shonda. She is a licensed therapist, guys. Thank you, Shonda, for joining me today. Hi, how are you today?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Good, good. I'm so glad you're here with me today. So guys, Shawna is a licensed therapist. She started a group in Washington, D.C. called Purple Rose Petals, right? And it is a group that come together for the Black community, for healing, should just get out of your comfort zone and just to be free. Shonda, can you please tell us about the company that you started?
Yeah, hi everyone. So I'm Shawna Rose. I'm a licensed therapist, public health professional, and like Tiffany said, the founder of Purple Rose Petals, which is a nonprofit based in the DMV that specifically focuses on mental health within the Black community for millennials. Because contrary to what you might believe, mental health is so much more than just therapy, right? It's literally
Yes.
how you show up for yourself, how you navigate friendships, relationships, grief, burnout, all the things while still trying to navigate through a world that tells us to be strong or push through. And so we do this through community events, but we also do workplace trainings as well as wellness consulting as well.
Yes, we love that. And guys, make sure you sign up for Shonda's events because they are really good. She has focus groups where we talk about different things. It's really a really good community for the Black community. And I just love that you started that, Shonda. It's your events are amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. So, okay, guys, before we get started, okay, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the Blck Impact podcast on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. You follow my wonderful guests today. At where can they find you, Shonda?
So you can find me on Instagram at by Shauna Rose, and then Purple. You can also follow us at Purple Rose Petals on Instagram.
Okay, great. So let's get into it, okay? So today we have an interesting subject to talk about, okay? We have a lot of things going on in the world, and we just brought Shonda here on to talk about mental health and about these uncomfortable situations that were going on in the world. And what is going on right now is the government shutdown, right? And we want to talk about how it's impacting our mental health and stability and survival in communities in regards to this shutdown. Okay. So my first question for you, coming from a therapist perspective, and also for your personal experience, because you are a um government worker and is it impacted because of this. But I kind of wanted to touch on as a government worker and a therapist, how has this situation, this shutdown, personally affected you emotionally, mentally, and financially?
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, it's been heavy, right? As a government employee, there's that uncertainty of not knowing when your next paycheck is coming. And as a
Yes.
therapist, I'm also holding spaces for my clients who are dealing with the same anxiety, right? So emotionally, it's
Right.
draining because I'm trying to balance empathy and endurance. I still have to show up for
Yes.
my clients. I still have to show up for my community, with my events that I'm having. And so it's kind of forced me to really practice what I preach, having to work
Mm-hmm.
on myself, having to manage my anxiety, and remembering that rest and faith are still important when things feel uneasy. And then financially, even with savings, the longer this drags on, the more
Yeah.
it starts, like, I'm really starting to go into survival mode. And so I feel like
Right.
now personally has really been testing my patience, my faith, and my emotional
Yeah.
regulation.
Yeah, yeah, I completely understand that you have to stay grounded for yourself and also for your patients. Like you said, it's kind of practice what you preach because this is affecting everyone and also it's very heavy, right? We don't know exactly when they're going to, uplift everything and also digging into your savings, it's made for reasons like this, but you don't want to keep digging into that. So yeah, I feel for everyone who is going through this tough time, and I just pray for everyone who is experiencing this because you just never know. You just never know.
Hmm.
Okay. So from what you've seen or heard, how is this shutdown affecting other government employees and family, especially in our community?
So the shutdown is hitting people hard, right? Especially within our
Mhm.
community. I've talked to folks who are skipping meals to try to stretch their groceries. I've talked to people who normally eat relatively healthy, but now having to bulk up on a lot of processed food so it can last longer. Parents
Wow.
are trying to keep things as normal as possible for their kids. We have contractors who are furloughed that won't be getting back pay. And so just beyond the finances, it's the emotional exhaustion, right? People feel
Yes.
unseen, they feel powerless, and that creates like a ripple effect of like
Effect.
I'm not homeless, it's like hopelessness, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then even those that are still employed, the morale is just overall low. People are just burnt out, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Knowing that your friend or your family member is going through that, like it also has an effect on you.
You right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And there's a sense of frustration and exhaustion, that comes from not knowing when things will stabilize, right? It's one thing to say, dang, like, I'm running low on groceries, but I know I get paid on the end of the end of the week, so I'm gonna just like make it work for the next few days. Compared to now, where it's like we don't know when we are going back to
When
work. Like it's like the unknown
yeah.
causing a lot of
Yeah.
anxiety.
That uncertainty.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. Um and it's kind of like you really don't know what to say because
Yeah.
it's really out of your control, but I understand like you can't really be worried about things that's out of your control, but bills is due. You got to eat. So also guys, we'll be having resources in the description for um where you can find food and all types of resources you need for this shutdown. Okay guys, I just wanted to let you know that but when it comes by me saying resources, food assistance, healthcare disappearing. Well, we don't know if healthcare is disappearing right now. Um, what kind of trauma does that create in a household, especially for parents, single mothers, and children, from a therapist perspective?
So when basic needs are threatened, like you said, like food, housing, healthcare, for anybody, the body naturally goes into survival mode, right? You're constantly anxious, you're irritable, you're on edge. Decisions become reactive instead of rational, right?
Yeah.
So, for example, when you're in survival mode, the part of the brain that's responsible for long-term decision making is called the prefrontal cortex. It actually slows
Mm-hmm.
down. And then the emotional center, which is known as the amygdala, yeah, it takes over. So that's why people might be snappy to loved ones. They avoid paying certain bills.
Mm-hmm.
They're making impulsive financial decisions, because the body is trying to like just find safety in that,
Yeah.
you know? It's just it's causing people to make impossible choices. That's gonna take a
Yeah.
mental toll, and it's gonna linger long, like the effects of this mental toll is gonna linger long after the shutdown ends.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Especially if, they didn't have it before,
Mhm.
this shutdown. People probably have already been struggling before this situation. So yeah, it just takes on a bigger it's taking on like a bigger toll for everyone when it comes to this. Um yeah, it's a we're the community's in a cry for help right now, and we literally are not we have some resources, but we don't have all the resources we need to come together and get us through this, right?
Right. And it's like people are having to, like with the first just passing, people are having to decide on, am I paying my rent or am I paying for groceries? Right? Like I've
Yeah.
a few people who have children who are like in daycare, and one
Yeah.
person I was talking to about it, I was asking, I'm like, well, why don't you just take, while you're not working, take your daughter out of daycare, that way you just watch us
Yeah.
anyway. And the way she was explaining it, she's like, I can't do that because with daycare spots are limited.
Oh,
So if
yeah.
you book up now,
Right.
it ends in 2 weeks. Now she doesn't have a daycare. Now I have to go back to work, but now I don't have anybody to watch my child, right? So it's like she's still paying for daycare even though she's not working. Like little things like that we don't think. So it really is taking a toll on people.
Yeah, and I don't think that they are really understanding how this is affecting us. Um, I don't think they understand that. Like you just said, like you have kids, you want to take them out of daycare, but your spots are limited, so you can't do that. And then you also don't want to mess up your kids' routine um of that.
Mm-mm,
Like I just don't think that they're thinking about all crossing their eyes and dotting their teeth. I don't think that they're thinking about every situation when it comes to this shutdown. I mean, yes, previously we have gone through um several shutdowns before, right? But I don't think it has impacted us the way it's impacting us right now.
mm-hmm,
Um and it's just I just I'm just lost for words, honestly, because it's really nothing you could say or do right now but to keep prayers up that will come to a solution to be able to go back to work and
mm-hmm,
receive that income and get that back pay that you guys need, and also for them not to shut down food stamps and healthcare so we can keep being able to do what we need to do because
mm-hmm,
we need that.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're seeing a lot of food prices go up and basically necessities become harder to afford. How does financial sorry. How does financially insecurities play into the mental health and the community
Yeah.
stability?
So finances
So
or lack thereof is already
yeah,
a mental
big
health
factor.
risk factor, right?
Yes.
So it's already a risk factor, right? And so
Yes.
I think with everything going on, it's probably one of the biggest threats to the mental well-being of the community right now, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it, you can do everything right. You got an education, you worked hard, and you're still feeling like you're barely making it, right? And so that
Right.
that kind of chronic stress can lead to anxiety, depression, burnout. When people are in constant survival mode, they stop dreaming, and like when communities stop dreaming, that's when, like I said earlier, hopelessness sets in. So
Yeah.
it's like going to be a ripple effect, right? And so what's going to
Yeah.
happen then is then our kids, right? Kids, they might not understand what specifically are happening, but they can feel it. They feel the tension, they feel the frustration,
Right.
feel the
Right.
fear in their parents' tones, right? Parents are stretched thin trying to hold everything together emotionally and financially. But it's like creating this generational message around survival instead of stability, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like this ripple effect that's going on right now. And so it's hard, like you said, it's hard. Like, okay, what now? What do we do?
Right.
Is
What? Right.
what I had to do. Y'all told me to go to school, I went to school. Y'all told me to get a good job, I got a good job.
Right.
So it's hard.
Yeah. And even for people who don't have kids, who are, barely making it
Mhm.
before, it's hard.
Yeah.
Bills are expensive. Like, this economy is just everything is just going up out of nowhere, and they're not trying to pay, you know? So, like you said, what now? Right? So some people are saying the shutdown could lead to more thefts or crime out here, out of desperation. From a therapist's point of view, what happens to people mentally? Survival mode kicks in. Well, we already talked about survival mode,
Yeah.
but let's talk about it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, so when survival mode, like when people are in survival mode, their brain starts focusing only on immediate needs. So that's food, shelter, and
Yeah.
safety, right? It's not about right or wrong. It's not about morality in that moment. It's just about trying to survive. And in no
Yes.
way do I condone or excuse crime, but I do understand the psychology behind it, right? When people feel
Yeah.
abandoned by the systems that are supposed to really protect them, survival
Yeah.
starts to override morality, right? So it's by any means necessary. And so people are hungry, like literally and
Yeah.
figuratively, right? Like so
Figuratively. Yeah.
people might start like robbing people in the parking lots as you're coming from your grocery because they need groceries too,
Yeah.
right? They're not thinking
Yeah.
about food, they're thinking about I need to feed myself, I need to feed my family. Um, and so first things first, everyone please be safe. Like, please
Yeah. We're
be
not condoning
cautious.
any
Yeah,
violence or
please be cautious of
anything.
your surroundings because people are like in
Right.
survival mode. But I think that's also why it's so important for communities to step in early when they can, like offering resources, the emotional support,
Yeah.
before people reach
Yeah.
that point of desperation. And I do think the community has been trying. There are a lot of food banks, like you said. You'll put some resources in the link or the
Yeah.
description. So there are some resources out there, um, but I do know a lot of food banks have already said, "Hey, we were never meant to sustain this long, covering this many people."
Yeah.
So even they're like, "Hey, I don't know
Right.
how long this is gonna last. Like we're doing as much as we can."
Yeah.
But it's just we have to really try to be in community as much as we can, to try to help one
Yeah.
another in this time. I know there's like a lot of restaurants that are kind of offering like free food to government employees. So just really trying to
Mhm.
figure out alternatives, while we're still in this time of uncertainty.
Yeah. It's just really, really hard.
Hmm.
So um when it comes to our generation or the future generation, how might this kind of instability affect the future generations before, to come? Kids who are watching their parents struggle right now, how do you think it's going to affect them in the future?
Yeah. So we all know that kids are sponges.
Yes.
And they absorb everything that they see. So they internalize the chaos. Even when parents try to show them, like I said, like they can feel that tension, you know what I mean? They can feel the shift. So if a parent can see or feel that their parent is maybe crying over bills, or they see their parent is skipping
Mhm.
meals or not eating as much so that they can eat, right? It plants these seeds of anxiety, right? It plants these
Yeah.
seeds of, like stability and worth. And then these experiences can shape how the future generation is, how they view money, how they view
Money.
work.
Yeah.
They even view like their sense of safety. They're gonna like they might like always be in survival mode because they might think,
Yeah.
when is this gonna happen? I gotta make sure that I'm always, you know what I mean? Like I gotta survive, I gotta survive. But like I said,
Yeah.
because kids are sponges, we also have the opportunity to teach them resiliency, right? Like
Right. Right.
be their parents or the adults around them actually naming their emotions. They see their adults asking for help. They see everyone
Yeah.
supporting each other.
Yeah.
That can then turn this instability into lessons of strength and empathy, and like
Mm-hmm.
lessons about community. So I think it's really,
Right.
really important for people who are out there that do have kids or nieces and nephews around them, making sure that you are leading by example, because kids are sponges and they're watching. They might not be
Yeah.
saying they are watching
Saying
us.
anything?
Yeah,
Right.
be intentional with how we're maneuvering all of this.
Yeah. And I want to speak on it affected us, watching our parents grow up in
Yeah,
survival mode. It shaped us to, the people that we are today because, our parents didn't have the resources or the emotions to even they didn't even know how to deal with their emotions at all. So I think it affected us. So now this generation is taking time to figure out what our emotions is, just like you said, naming it, and then figuring out how not to pass that on to the upcoming generation. So I think we're doing a wonderful job when it comes to that. But we still, of course we have like trial and error, of course.
sure.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but this generation, I feel like they're a little bit more smarter. They have a little bit more resources than we had than
Mm.
they had before. So I think they're doing really good. But um, yeah, pay attention to your kids, guys, and talk to them and have them. They can have all the feels, but talk to them and explain to them what is going on and how can they process this, and how can you process it, and also um create tools for them to do and speak to therapists, or if it's not a therapist, just talk to one another, so they can have a better understanding of life and like what's going on. um and always, the number one thing is pray about it, right? um okay, so do you think in the Black community, the Black community experiencing shutdown differently emotionally or economically compared to others?
I would say yes, right? I think the shutdown feels different for us because we're already navigating economic inequities and systematic barriers, right? So
Yeah,
when you add a shutdown on top of that, it amplifies
yeah,
existing trauma, right? The job insecurity, the health disparities, the racial stress. So there's like a unique fatigue that comes from constantly having to make a way out of no way. Right, like we're always told to push through. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna do what we gotta do. But that gets exhausting. It gets exhausting. We were already doing that, so having to do that on top of a shutdown
yeah,
is a lot. But
yeah.
because we're used to already having to make a way out of no way, we also already have like
The tools and
yeah,
yeah,
strong.
the
What I'm trying to say, like this strong
the
traditions of.
willpower to already.
Yeah, and I think we also we do have like community care, right? So we have churches, we have neighbors, we have
Yeah,
family, right? And so that becomes our safety net when systems continue
yeah,
to fall short. But like again, like I said earlier, I think we need to be in community.
community, yeah,
Or
for
I think
sure.
that we are community based already, but we really got to lean on each other in this time
Yeah,
of for sure.
yeah, community is everything for us. Yeah. And one thing I want to know, like, how is this affecting other demographics, like when it comes to Caucasians and like just other, because I don't I don't know if it's affecting them as much as it's affecting us, or it might be affecting them way more because I've heard that they have relied on food stamps and, government assistance more than, the Black community. I overheard it's 13% of the Black community that are on government assistance, and I'm not exactly sure the percentage for Caucasians, but I have heard that it's affecting them a little bit more.
So I don't know. I honestly I can't speak for them. Because
Mhm.
most of my clients are people of color, but I'm sure it's affecting
Okay.
one. I'm sure it is affecting
Yeah.
every right. But like I said,
Everyone.
as
Yeah.
a community, we were already community is our thing.
Affected. Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Asians are big on community, right? I don't know what that looks
Yeah.
like
They are.
right? I don't like,
Yeah.
I know for me and my family, you might be my cousin's cousin, you're my cousin, right? You might be my mom's best friend,
Right.
like community is our
Right.
thing. Whereas
Yeah.
people that I know that are Caucasian, they have first cousins that they don't even really know like that, right? So I don't know if they
Yeah.
have that sense of community.
That
I can only speak
right.
to that, but I just know for us as people of color, we gotta stay.
Stick together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. um for those for people who are feeling anxious or scared or angry during this time, what are some practice ways to protect your peace and maintain hope?
First thing first, I would say give yourself permission to slow down, right? And remember that it's okay not to be okay. Give
Yes.
yourself permission to feel what you're feeling, whether that's fear, that's anger, that's it's exhaustion. Feel all the feels.
Hmm.
And then I would say establish like small routines that anchor you. Whether that's walking, journaling, praying, staying connected with others, being in community.
Yes.
Um, Definitely limit doom scrolling. I know we're so quick to get on our phones, check the news, but just try to mute all that. Like I would say, try not to check the news like constantly.
Yeah.
Try to mute accounts that after you watch a certain post from somebody, you're getting anxious. Maybe try to mute those. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And check in with your body, right? Like how's your body feel?
Yeah.
If you're feeling tired, go to
Right.
sleep, right? Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Remembering to breathe.
Yes.
And also, I would say, like, if you need help, reach out, right? Whether it's therapy, a support group, go to community events. Don't carry it alone because you're not the only person going
Right.
through this. So why
Yeah.
go through it alone when everybody else is feeling it? Why not like try to
Yeah.
cope and heal together?
Together, right. Yeah, you never know exactly what someone going through. You guys might be going through the same exact thing. So it's always good to reach out and to, talk about certain things with other people, you might meet a stranger and that stranger might be the best person in your life right now. So yeah, community is the number one thing for us right now. We need to stay together, heal together, and try to and move forward together. Yes. Okay. So what can we oh sorry. Okay. So what can we as a community do to support each other during this? We just said that, right? Actually to be there for each other. Okay. So what message do you want to leave for people who feel forgotten or powerless right now?
People that feel forgotten or powerless, like I want to reiterate that you're not alone. And so just reach out for help. Check in.
Yes.
Like I said, whether it's therapy, support group, community events, right? Like you don't have to do this alone. Um, right. That's why I know for me specifically, that's why Purple Rose Petals, that's why we were built for times like this, right? Reminding people that
Yeah.
healing, hope, and connection still exist.
Mhm.
We do have virtual meetups for any and everybody that needs safe spaces to land. So definitely, if you need that, join us. We're currently working on planning an in-person meetup as well, just so you're in community. There's no real
Yeah.
agenda. We're just all coming together just so we can sit together and kind of just process our feelings. So just look for other companies or organizations that are doing similar things in your area. If you're not in the DMV, just really trying to
Yeah.
find community.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for coming on and giving us a therapist perspective on this whole government shutdown and giving us tools that we can use when it comes to this. Um, this has been a wonderful conversation. I pray for everyone who is going through this tough time. Um, I pray for you guys to seek out there and get resources. We'll have resources for you as well. And yeah, anything you want to say to the people? I mean, the
Yeah.
audience,
The
while we're
last
still
thing
here? Yeah.
is like just check in on your people and not just with a how are you, but maybe like a what do you need? Like what do you need, right?
Yeah.
And then for the people that are going through it, don't be afraid to say, I'm not okay. If you do have friends checking in, I know we're used to saying, oh, I'm good, everything's good, I'm all fine. I need you guys to not be afraid to say, I am not okay. I need help, and like asking for your help. And again, leaning on your community. There is power
Yeah.
in collective care. So even when the
Yeah.
systems pause or compassion doesn't like when systems pause, our compassion doesn't have to. So really like my main thing I want you guys to take away from today is just really being in community.
Yes. Yes. I agree. I agree. Well, guys, I want to thank you, Shawna, for coming on and giving us insight on the shutdown and what we can do right now. Guys, thank you so much for joining the Blck Impact today. Um, it's been a lovely conversation. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the Blck Impact podcast, and also for Shawna, everything will be in the description, guys. I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day, and we'll see you next time on the Blck Impact podcast. Okay, guys. All right, Shonda, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you.
Good one.